Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Simming in Oz, and today we are continuing our Hogwarts build. We are doing the greenhouse today, and I am starting off with just basically making use of the space that I possibly can. I did not have a lot of room to create this greenhouse. It was something I constructed very early on in the process, probably like second to the Great Hall. So it's been sitting here patiently for so long waiting for me to decorate it, and here it is finally. If I'm completely honest, I wish I had some more space to actually really lean into the green gardening aspect of Hogwarts. There's a whole class surrounding it, and I feel like Professor Spout just deserves a little bit more, honestly. But I was limited in space, and I just had to work with what I worked with. So I've got flower arranging stations, and I've also just got a lot of greenery going on within this greenhouse. I love the little broken floor tiles on the bottom. I feel like it's probably the bit in the castle that just doesn't get enough maintenance. So we're going through and we are just adding in planters on the walls, just because we want to really utilize the space that we do have and try and fit as much plants as we possibly can in here. I was trying to lean into a half decorative sort of greenhouse and a half practical. So we're going to have like flowers and magical plants and items in here and flower stations, but with the amount of desks, I suppose, within this space, it's not going to be the biggest class, honestly. It's got 6 people that can fit in here for classes, and that is it. I'm so sorry. My apologies to Professor Sprout. You're my love, but obviously I was limited. I was so limited within this build, but we tried our best and we just got through it. If I'm honest, I would have loved to have leaned into the aspect of the the plants that eat people. I feel like I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's the cow plant. It's the cow plant. So the cow plants that eat people, I just feel like that's so Hogwarts. And, you know, if they've got little baby plants that scream and kill people, then they can so have cow plants. So I really would have loved to have leaned into that, but unfortunately space was a factor, and I just sort of had to do what I can with what I was given. But really the greenhouse is small and it is practical, and it's not somewhere that, you know, you'd spend all your time, honestly. It's just there. And if I had to do Hogwarts again and I was on a 64 by 64 lot, I would so certainly be doing a lot more effort within the greenhouse aspect of it. But you know what? It's done. And now we're moving on to the actual exterior of Hogwarts. I don't know what I put in my coffee that morning, but I just went ham on the decorating. So up until this point, I'd been focusing on interiors, and I'd gotten a bit tired of it, honestly. I was like, it never felt done. It never felt even close to being finished. So every time I just looked at the outside, it was ugly and it was bare and there was no landscaping and the pillars were not correct and the wallpaper wasn't lining up correctly to make sense, and all the windows were out of alignment, and it was bugging me. And it had just this random structure that I thought, oh, I'll put the owlery at the end of this, but no, I didn't have room for it. So the bridge stayed there, but the owlery just never materialized. So I'm going through and I am doing a massive cleanup. So it's just all about the arches and the tiny decorations and just making everything make sense. And I thought now is the time. Once it's done, I'll be like feeling a lot more closer to done than I've ever felt before. And I really just wanted to do the stones surrounding Hogwarts, because Hogwarts is sort of on a cliff face kind of near a river. So I really wanted to implement the stones and some greenery and just make it look really established within the landscape. So it was the thing I wanted to do, and I just went for it. As I'm going, I'm adding in gargoyles, I'm adding in small details, and I'm seeing what I can do. Now, I had the worst time creating an entrance to Hogwarts. I'd put it off, I'd procrastinated on it, and I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And honestly, it was really hard. Like, I'd put myself in a little bit of a corner because I did not have the space to make some beautiful, grand, luxurious entrance to Hogwarts. Really just had to work with the space that I'd left myself, and honestly, it was so awkward because I wanted to have steps leading up to a platform, and then the platform would have 2 exits, one leading up into the school and one pathway that led to the back of the school that went into the second courtyard. So I was really trying to make it make sense, but unfortunately Sims 4 was just fighting me. I couldn't get the pathway from the entrance to the back of Hogwarts to actually fill in with ground and pavers and everything. For just whatever reason, I could not place flooring under that bridge, just because I thought Sims just wasn't having it. So I just had to leave it, and it's really one of the only things that really peed me off with the whole process, because it's still like that. Even though the build is officially done at the time of this recording, I've actually finished Hogwarts and I'm so happy. But at the time of recording this video, I was like really annoyed at it, because I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to fix this. It's just going to have a pathway that's going to have these really weird gaps in the path, and it's never going to get fixed. And you know what? I was right. It didn't get fixed. But I just sort of had to run with it because I couldn't do anything about it. The grass under that bridge just would not have any tile on it. So here, as you can see, I'm trying to fill it in right now, and I'm completely failing at it, and I sort of hope that Sims can still walk on it enough to actually get back there. But yeah, it was really annoying at the time. And now we're going through, and we're going to actually be going through the satisfying part of this video, is that I was placing all the rocks down, and I loved how it turned out. I'm happy with the shade of the rocks. I'm happy with the configuration that they gave me. I had all types. I had scattered ones, I had long ones, I had just a plain one, and I was able to utilize them and resize them in such a way that everything just made sense and everything came together as soon as these rocks were down. As soon as the rocks were down and the greenery was down, I had a Hogwarts, and I was so chuffed. I was like, yes, this is it. It's coming together. I'm finally on the last legs. And then from this point on, for the whole Hogwarts build, I was crawling. I was like, but I'm done. I've got the landscaping. But no, I had the whole dungeons to go after this, and the dungeons, I will come to it later, but the dungeons was a journey. You have no idea. But I was crawling all through the last part of this build because I was just so ready to be done with Hogwarts, and it looked done from the outside, and that was tricking my mind. So it was just a bit of a slog, but it's done now at the time of me recording this video, audio. So I've got peeking into the future going, yes, it's perfect. It came out beautiful. But at this point in recording the video, I was just dying. But also loving how the exterior turned out. So I didn't know what a slog I had ahead of me, but at this point I was feeling good. I was feeling confident about the journey. And I love placing landscaping because it just brings everything together and it makes it look correct. I was also fighting with all the basement levels as well, because I had to sort of have enough room to place down the rocks that it looks natural. But if I resized the rooms in the basement, my rooms inside looked all weird. So it was a real balancing act, and I was just sort of had to maintain pathways to places, and I couldn't prioritize landscaping too much. It had to still be functional. So this is me just going through. And while I was doing this, I was like fixing the courtyard, I was furnishing things, because I knew that if I ran out of steam, I wasn't going to get done, and I was on a real roll with this one. So I was just going through and doing absolutely everything to the most minute detail that I possibly could, because I was in the zone. I wanted to keep trees very, I say minimal, but also they take up a lot of space. But I didn't want much variation within the trees. I wanted big ones, I wanted smaller ones, but I didn't want it to look too out there. Like, it needed to fit within the theme of Hogwarts, so I couldn't go down and put down some real modern, not Scotland looking trees. So I put down all these lovely Christmassy trees because I know it's sort of a Christmas movie for the first movie. So I just sort of leaned into that, and I thought, ooh, they'd use this tree for Christmas, and Hagrid would have to drag it in the snow and everything. So I thought that was fun. And here I am just going through and I'm starting the decorating process. My philosophy is that if there's a gap, fill it with rocks and greenery and it'll look really intentional. And it just fills up the space and it makes it so perfect and lived in, because whenever there's greenery, it's overgrown, it's beautiful, and it just sets it into the lush landscape so well that everything just comes together after greenery and rocks are down. And as you can see, it looks fantastic. I'm so proud. But yeah, it was really fun doing the landscaping, even though it was repetitive and it did wear on me a little bit after a while. Really enjoyed it because the final result is just something I'm so proud of, and it makes the build look fantastic. But really, that is it for the exterior and greenhouse of Hogwarts. A lot of landscaping in this one, a lot of repetitive stuff, but it does make the build look fantastic. And I'm so glad I put the effort in and took the time to really get this all correct. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Next time we are going to try and fit in an owlery and an astronomy tower to this already over complicated build and see if we can fit it in somewhere. And we do actually succeed, and I'm quite proud of myself on how I was managed to fit it in. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye bye.